Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Faye, come from China, and this is my first English video on YouTube. Today I will introduce you my new car. So it's this one, the Hongqi H9. I bought this car because everything is made in China. I'm so excited and curious of this car's performance. And the price of this car is about from £36,000 up to £63,000. And because my version is quite high-end, so the price is about £54,000. And this car is actually targeting to compete the BMW 5 Series and Mercedes-Benz A-Class. Before introducing this car, I have a question for you. What's the first word into your mind when thinking about Chinese cars? I know most people might have no idea that we have our own car brands, but the rest might think about the copycats, such as Landwind, Sortier. As a Chinese, I honestly ashamed them. I know these cars do exist, but they don't represent all of the Chinese cars. And nowadays, we have some great brands such as Geely, BYD, etc. And because I didn't see many English videos on YouTube share the Chinese cars, so I think it probably would be nice for me to share with you some of my own cars that are designed and manufactured in China. Because I'm still a student, so you probably find I'm not that professional, or if there's any grammar mistakes, please forgive me. And I really hope everything I'm saying can make sense to you. And this car is really rare to see abroad, so I will show you with some details. And the front design of this car is so powerful. I particularly love these vertical grills, and also there's lights all the way from here to there. It's so unique and very pretty when lights up at night. Also, have you seen this red thingy? It's the logo of Hongqi, and you can actually see this logo in the interior as well. I'll show later. And I think the front of this car is quite high and very imposing compared with the other cars we normally see on the road with similar prices. And I think that's probably a very important reason why Chinese people purchase this car a lot, because its exterior design and also the meaning and the history behind this brand as well. Compared to the front, the side design is quite normal, but as you can see, this car is very long. It's more than 5 meters. That's because Chinese people love big interior space, and also because of that, some brands such as Audi, BMW, Mercedes have increased their wheelbase of their cars for the Chinese market to therefore meet Chinese consumers' preferences. And also, this car is using a hidden handle, which is quite similar to the new Mercedes S-Class. And my version of this car is using a 19 inches rim. But I think the size of the rim is relatively small compared to the length of this car. But this car is designed for business occasions at most of the time, so I think it makes sense to me. It doesn't look that sporty. And also, if we have a look at this part of the car, does it look like a coupe? The design concept of Hongqi is using Chinese culture and heritage elements in its vehicles. For example, the back of the car got a light stripe that runs through the back, common design. When the tail light is lighting up, there are 4 small lights inside which represent the 4 red flags on Tiananmen Square, which is quite cool, and I kind of like this design. Let's now go and have a look at the inside of this car. Because this car is a quite high-end version, all of the seats are using real leather. It also has this kind of leather trim and piano black surface. I think the interior is quite luxurious. Also, the materials using is worth its price. However, some owners of H9 has complained their leather trim is not that street or tidy. Also, there are some noises when they press the buttons, but I am lucky one, haven't met any of those problems.
And I feel a big screen becomes quite essential these days. The screen is quite responsive, but I think the background design of the screen needs to be more up to date. There's also steering wheel heating, massage and heating and cooling for both front front and rear seats, which you don't normally get from the other brands with a similar price. On the armrest box here is the extension of the logo of Hongqi, but unfortunately they don't light up at night.
And the whole range of this model uses both sound system, and I'll show you a detail. I think it's quite interesting. And on the speaker, it's like a landscape painting, which is quite cool. But some owners of H9 bought this car for business occasions, so they spend loads of time on the rear seats. So let's go to the rear seats and have a look. As you can see, this car is a 5-seat model. There's also a 4-seat version available with higher price, but I tend to use this car as a 4-seat car just because there's a really big bump and it's not very comfy to sit in the middle. Also, the seats adjustment and both cooling and heating buttons are here on the armrest, so it's just more convenience to use them. And as you can see, the rear space of this car is plenty and it's quite big, especially for me. I have plenty of leg room, but also because I'm quite small, so I always find there are enough rear space for me for most of the sedans. And this button here, which we call it boss button in China, so you basically control the seat in front of you. But it could be nicer if the panoramic sunroof extends to the top of my head to make the rear space brighter. This car carries a 3-litre supercharged V6 engine, which brings 283 horsepower that I think is very enough for everyday using. There's also a 2-litre version available with lower price, but because the size of this car is really big, especially when we look outside, you can see it's super wide and super large, so I don't think it's that friendly for beginners who just got their driving license to drive.
About how fast this car is. It's 0 to 60 miles per hour in 7 seconds. While you drive, you can hear the unique sound of a supercharger. The steering of this car is super light, which might be deliberately made by the manufacturer to pretend that it can be driven easily. And this car is using a 7-speed DCT gearbox, and I think it needs to be smoother.
If I score this car, I will give 8 out of 10 for its exterior design, 7 for the interior, 6.5 for the driving performance. Although this car got air suspension, but you can still feel it's quite bumpy when it goes over a speed bump. Also, when I drive on a bumpy road, it feels like there are many small pieces are working together rather than a whole big piece, if that makes sense. It's just not as smooth or tight as BMW or Mercedes. And the suspension support of this car is quite weak, not very stiff, but you can definitely feel a strong body roll when you make a turn with a high speed or you're cornering. Well, this car is just not very sporty. So that's my thoughts of this car, and I'm posting this video just to share, not to compete with other brands or to see who's better. I know some Chinese manufacturers used to copy it a lot, but it's in the past. And also I know this car has been exported to Japan recently, so I have a question for you. If it's available in your country, would you like to buy it? You can answer it in the comment box below. And this is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!